For the past 9 years, my professional growth has been determined by how well or poorly I can articulate my thoughts. Whether that's speaking on stage, pitching ideas to Fortune 500 companies, or speaking to a camera. Each of these areas have taught me how to structure my thoughts so I can in turn structure my communication, which is what articulation is all about. The best thing for you to know, I was way worse with my articulation than I am today. In fact, my friends had a joke that they could only understand the last 2 words of a sentence that I would say. I would ramble, fumble, stumble, and just not be able to speak in a flow. But these 9 lessons have really helped me out, and I hope they help you. Before we start, if you're looking to enhance your communication skills, subscribe for more communications content. And if you want to take your communications to the next level, you can click the link in the description to check out our course to see if we can work together. The very first lesson is to practice something called as PDP. One of the biggest problems I had while speaking was I used to always sound like this. I used to sound very quiet, and this just did not communicate any form of confidence. But PDP gave a simple solution to modulating my voice. It stands for pop, drop, and pause. It simply means you pop some words up so you can emphasize on them, you drop some words down, and you pause before or after other words. So for example, if you have a sentence like this, the butler killed the gardener, instead of just saying it normally, we can instead pop a word up, drop a word down, and add a pause somewhere in the middle. And the sentence can then become, butler killed the gardener. And when we can modulate our sound like this, it not only helps us to come across as more engaging, but we're able to communicate with a lot more ease. Because when you pause, your mind and mouth connection can stick together for a lot longer, which in turn helps us with articulation. Which brings us to our second point, and that is to reduce your WPM. WPM stands for words per minute. When you're communicating, if you are a naturally fast speaker like how I am, we tend to stumble on our words a lot more because we're speaking just way too fast. This simple shift of slowing down your WPM can make a world of a difference. But first, you need to find out what your WPM is. It's very simple to do. You just need 4 things. You need your phone's audio recorder, a speech topic, a transcribing application, and a blank Word document. First, you get your speech topic by simply going on ChatGPT and typing, hey, give me a 1-minute speech topic on blank industry. Just insert whatever industry you're currently in. Once you get some speech topic options, pick one and start speaking on it while audio recording yourself for up to 1 minute. Stop exactly at the 1-minute mark. Even if you're mid-sentence, it doesn't really matter. You then want to put this audio recorder on the transcribing application or website. There are tons of websites out there for free. Just put your audio recorder there. It'll give you an entire transcription of your audio recording. You want to copy paste the transcription to your Word document and simply count the number of words you've spoken. That becomes your WPM. If that count is over 150, it means you're speaking fast. And you need to consciously work on slowing down your pace to improve the mind and mouth connection. Number 3, speak in terms of frameworks. This is something I've spoken about a lot of times, but if you want to speak in an articulate way, we need to give our mind a certain structure to be able to do that. There are a lot of different frameworks out there that you can utilize. One of the easiest ones to use is called as PPF. It stands for past, present, and future. So if you're asked to speak on a particular topic, you simply start by talking about your introduction to that topic. How did you come across it? What are your thoughts on it? What are your thoughts on it now? Have they evolved or changed? And what do you hope to do with that in the future? So for example, if you're asked to speak on AI, you talk about how you got introduced to AI and how it started making a difference in your life, whether positive or negative. You then talk about how your relationship with it has evolved to the present moment, and you simply talk about what your plans to do with it are in the future. This works very well for spontaneous speeches like these when you're trying to explain a point, give an opinion, or even if you have a toast to give at a wedding or an acceptance speech. But like PPF, there are a bunch of more frameworks. You can check out a lot more videos we made on this channel to learn more frameworks. The next thing you want to try to do, it's something I'm really working on as well, is to try to open your mouth completely when you speak. The reason that we tend to fumble and are less clear with our communication is simply because we don't open our mouths completely. And talking to the point of reducing your WPM, the reason we speak fast is because our mouths are not opening a lot. And that's the way that we can speak fast. I cannot speak fast if I am opening my mouth completely. But if I move my lips a little, I can go as fast as I want without really stopping. And this really hurts articulation. So when you're having a conversation with somebody, try to be conscious of how much are you opening your mouth. It will allow you to improve your fluency accuracy, your articulation, as well as your overall clarity of speaking. And if you want to deliberately practice this, you can simply pick up a paragraph from a book and read it out loud while opening your mouth completely on every single word and syllable. If you just read 1 or 2 pages like that, and it'll take you about 5 minutes or so, you'll notice that you're feeling a bit of pressure and soreness on your jaw area. Similar to how if you would go to the gym, you'd work out, you'd feel sore on those muscles. Developing our jaws works in a similar manner. I'm trying to improve this myself and it takes time, but I think it's worth it. The next one is to find practice platforms. Now, what I mean by this is it's easy to say you need to practice every single day, but how would you really practice? There are 3 layers that you can follow depending on your financial viability as well as the time you can give to it. The most economical way of doing it is to just do it by yourself. A lot of the exercises that we went through over here can be done just using your phone, a stopwatch, and an audio recorder. The problem with this is you require a higher amount of self-discipline and motivation because it can get boring really quickly. The second is to find some clubs in your area that can promote practice of public speaking. The most famous one is called as Toastmasters. If you don't know what that is, it's a non-profit that will help you practice public speaking in front of a supportive audience. You can just Google it to find more details on this. If there's a club near you, you can go check it out. We've also created a ton of videos on this topic itself. I have also been a member of Toastmasters, so you can highly check it out. So that's one easy way for you to get in some practice. And the third way to do it is to join a course where you have expert coaches and instructors take you through a step-by-step plan to help you improve your articulation. This would obviously be the most expensive, but the ability to get results is a lot higher simply because you have somebody to hold you accountable and you have a much more guided approach. Regardless of which one you pick, do pick one to begin your practice journey. The next thing you want to do is to get an AI-powered tool to help you with your communications. And this is especially useful if you're a remote worker. One very simple tool you can utilize is called as Poised. There is a free version as well, which you can download. It works as an extension to your video applications such as Zoom. When you install and plug it in, it gives you feedback while your meeting is going on and gives you a report towards the end in terms of how many filler words you used, whether you're going too fast or not, and certain tips on helping you see improvements. I've used this as a great reminder, so I'm conscious of how I'm communicating to ensure I'm communicating at my best. The next one is the 2-second pause. The problem with articulation is when somebody asks us a question, we have this impulse to respond immediately. And then we wonder after we walk away from the conversation, man, I could have said all these things as well, but it just didn't come to my mind at the right time. That is where the 2-second pause becomes very, very crucial. When somebody speaks to you, you simply want to pause for just 2 seconds and then start to speak. We do this because giving a few seconds to our mind to simply gather information will allow us to speak in a much more structured manner without blanking out. This also applies if you have a presentation to give. When we go on stage, our minds are not very familiar with having so many eyes looking at us. But when we go on stage, we immediately start speaking. We have this urge to just let everything out like we're wasting everyone's time. And if we take a pause, people will think that we don't know what we're talking about. But one of the best ways to approach stage fear and improve your articulation is when you go on stage, simply stand in the center. Take 2 to 3 seconds to just let your mind familiarize itself with this new environment you've thrown it into, and then start speaking. We'll start from a much more grounded place as opposed to sounding all frantic. The next one is a daily habit that you can practice called as diaphragmatic breathing. It's a form of breathing that allows you to clear your mind, approach your day from a calmer perspective, which gives you a lower chance of blacking out and a higher chance of sounding more articulate. Here's what diaphragmatic breathing looks like.
Here's how it works. You want to take 2 in-breaths and 2 out-breaths. Essentially, it's just 1 deep in-breath and 1 long out-breath, but I'll just term it as a 2-step model. The first in-breath you take, you will completely inflate your belly. So your hand, which is placed down on your belly, will come out a little bit. The second in-breath you'll take will expand your chest. So your shoulders will move behind and your back will kind of be arched out. Finally, you want to hold that breath for a count of 4. And once you have done that, you then want to breathe out. The first out breath will bring your shoulders back to normal and will deflate your chest. And the second out breath will suck your belly towards yourself. Hence, you will be literally hunching down when you're breathing out. Some people say it's better to breathe out through the mouth. Some say it's better to breathe out through your nose. Definitely you want to breathe in through your nose, but when it comes to the out breath, just do whatever helps you release more oxygen.
You can do this in the beginning of every day, or you can do it right before a meeting if you know you're going to be nervous for that event. And the last element is to do something known as facial vocalization. A lot of communications happens subconsciously. Your body is sending signals to your mind, which in turn shows the other person how confident or underconfident you might be. And one of the easiest ways to communicate nervousness is by doing something called as facial restriction. Facial restriction looks like this. If I'm talking right now without any movement in my face and without any sort of modulation, I am going to come across as a lot more nervous, even though I might be feeling confident internally. Whereas facial vocalization simply involves us moving our face beyond blinking our eyes and the movement of our lips to come across as a lot more engaging. Why does this help us with our articulation? Because when we emote through our face, our voice has a lot more inflection room so that we can sound a lot more clear and expressive while putting across our points. If you speak like this, you'll come across like this. But if you start speaking like this, you'll come across a little differently. And those are the 9 articulation lessons in 9 minutes. If you like this video, you'll definitely love the next video which we made on 5 mental models that you can utilize to stop blanking out in impromptu settings. Check out the whole video right here.